Hello there, this is Dorothy Pang, and I do acupuncture and microneedling to help women look and feel their best. And today's video is about the 3 biggest mistakes that people make after having a microneedling session. So of course, I'm going to talk about professional microneedling, but it applies to a lot of different procedures that you might find yourself undergoing. So post-care is really critical for getting the best microneedling results because while the microneedling procedure itself is important, of course, what's the most important part of the procedure is how your skin heals up afterwards, because the whole point of having microneedling is that it stimulates your skin to rejuvenate itself. So that's great because you don't have a lot of side effects, you don't have a lot of negative things that you usually see from it, but that does mean that how you treat yourself after your session can have an impact on the results that you will get. So it does take a month to get your full microneedling result to show up, but in that month, there are some things you could do to help get a better result, especially right after care. So specifically, we'll talk about aftercare because that's when your skin is most sensitive and when you'll get the most benefits from your work. So but let's find out if you're making these common mistakes after microneedling, because these can slow down your results or even cause irritation. Okay, so mistake number 1 is not using the correct aftercare products. So you don't want to use anything too harsh after a microneedling session, and that is because the skin is ultra exposed. The microneedling causes tiny little holes in the surface of your skin that you can't see visibly, but that will allow in much more product than usually is allowed to seep into your skin. So even if you have products that your skin is used to and that you use every day or even twice a day with no irritation because your skin is used to it, you're going to absorb a lot more of these products. And so perhaps your skin is absolutely fine with these products at, let's say, the 100% rate that you're used to having. But microneedling means that more skin is exposed and there's more surface to absorb the products. So you're going to have a lot higher rate of absorption of the product that you apply. So let's say you absorb twice as much of the product because you've gotten microneedling. If that product is something potentially harsh or irritating, then that can cause a skin reaction. So that includes many different classes of products. So you probably want to stay away from acids and peels and scrubs and enzymes after your microneedling session, because again, you're going to get increased exposure to the application of the product, and that can cause irritation. And we don't want the skin irritated by product after microneedling. So instead of using something harsh or something like an acid, you could use something super gentle. The first 24 hours after microneedling, the skin is typically a little bit more sensitive. So we don't want to use, like I said, retinols, acids, peels, those kinds of things. Things that usually your skin is used to are going to be a lot harsher than if you were versus a normal day. You're going to absorb a lot more of that product, so anything that can cause irritation, we probably want to avoid. But what you could use, I usually send my patients home with a little jar full of hyaluronic acid with a little bit of stem cell solution in there. I use a vegan stem cell. I'm just more comfortable with that. An apple stem cell, which has been proven in studies to be super effective. But you don't want a high concentration even. That stuff is really strong. So a lower concentration is fine. But typically a hyaluronic acid is very gentle and okay. Let me correct myself. I did say acid, but I meant something like a vitamin A or retinol, that kind of acid. A hyaluronic acid is very gentle. You also probably want to do some kind of hydration, and so typically I'll suggest a water spray with the hyaluronic acid. The hyaluronic sits on the surface of the skin and dries out a little bit, and we want to have the water on the surface to absorb from the skin, from the surface of the skin into the skin. So we have to draw the water in from somewhere from the hyaluronic, and if you don't have enough surface water, we can be taking moisture from the skin itself, which is not what we want. So I'll typically send my patients home with a little jar of hyaluronic plus apple stem cell, and then I'll advise them to do a water spray. And you don't have to do an official, face mist water spray. Just regular water typically is fine, or Evian sells a spray, but it's just water. So whatever, as long as you have a quality water, even out of the tap, it might be just fine. Just plenty of water on top of your hyaluronic acid. And then A common misconception that people think is that they should exfoliate right away. Please don't do that. No, the skin is already kind of exposed and super sensitive, so don't go scrubbing or rubbing the skin. Just be super gentle with it. No, none of those scrubby things. If you have something that you can feel a scrub in, we don't want to do that during the first 24 hours after a microneedling session. No, just save that for a little bit later. Have a little patience. You can use it sometimes even a few days later, but not within the first 24 hours. Mistake number 2 is skipping sunscreen. So after microneedling, especially the first 24 hours, your skin is extra sensitive, and that means extra sensitive to sun exposure as well. So it's best to try and avoid the sun, so you maybe don't want to go to the beach the next day. If you do have to go outside, wear sunscreen, preferably mineral, and a hat. We want to try and minimize direct sun exposure while the skin is super sensitive. It's just kind of a best practice. So wear sunscreen, wear extra, wear a hat, try to get a mineral one versus a chemical one because those just don't last as long, and keep your skin protected from excessive ultraviolet exposure. The first 24 hours are super important, but the skin can be sensitive for a few days after microneedling, so it's kind of best to not spend a ton of time outside in the first few days after microneedling. But if you have to, wear a hat, try to stay out of the direct sunlight. Just try to treat your skin like it's a little bit delicate, because it's a little bit delicate. Mistake number 3 is touching or picking at the skin. So after microneedling, your skin could experience a little bit of redness. That is normal. It could be extra pink. You don't want to touch it though. It's a little exposed. You want to reduce the risk of infection by not touching the skin. So, a little bit of water spray, absolutely fine. A little bit of extra hyaluronic acid put on with clean hands here and there, and then some water spray, absolutely fine. But if the skin is irritated, just give it a little water spray and let it rest. And typically by the next day, it'll be totally fine, but you don't want to touch it. Just kind of leave it alone and let it heal. Sometimes there's a tiny bit of inflammation in the healing process, and that is totally okay. Just let it be. It shouldn't be too extreme, and it should be calm the next day. And then if you feel like things are a little irritated, there are some things you could do. Like if you have a gentle mask, those sheet masks they have, you could put it in the refrigerator, and that'll make it extra cool when you put the sheet mask on to help reduce any redness or irritation. But again, we don't want anything harsh in that sheet mask, so it has to be something gentle, nothing too treatment oriented, like nothing peely or vitamin A or C, none of those potentially irritating ingredients, and super gentle things, preferably that your skin is okay with already. Typically skin is okay with a cucumber or an aloe kind of sheet mask. Just keep it simple, and you should be just fine the next day in 24 hours. So don't freak out if it's a little pink. It should calm right down. Okay. All right, so the wrap up now. We're going to go through the 3 mistakes again. Number 1, not using the right aftercare products. So avoiding harsh products after treatment is very important. We don't want to cause irritation. Number 2, skipping sunscreen is no good because your skin is extra sensitive to products and to sun. So keep your face under a hat if you have to be outside. Try not to spend too much time outside, and remember to put on that sunscreen, mineral sunscreen, after your treatment, and the next day too. Probably would be really good to really keep that in mind to reduce sun exposure. And number 3, keep your skin at peace. Don't go picking at it. I know it might be a little red, it might feel a little itchy, but by all means, please resist the urge to pick at it or scratch at it. It should be just fine in about a day. You can use a little cooling mist. You can use cooling water or a cooled mask, a sheet mask that's been in the fridge, to kind of give yourself a little bit of topical relief. But just be patient and you should be just fine in 24 hours. All right. If you're curious how microneedling can improve your skin, please book a session. It's really amazing, very effective, super low key, not a lot of side effects. I love it so much. I wish that more people, had told me about it earlier in my life. It's so amazing for improving the look of the skin and improving confidence. If you feel like, something about yourself is keeping you from doing the things that you want, maybe try some microneedling if you think that it's an applicable methodology to help you to look and feel better. Because I want you to have an amazing life, right? I want you to go for things. If you found this helpful, please give this video a like and subscribe for more skincare tips. And if you're ready to see real results, please book your microneedling session with me today, and you'll see the link in the description. All right, thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.